All right. Welcome back, MIET 312 students. For those out there that don't know me, and because there's not an introduction slide here today, my name is Dr. Morgan Sears. I'm the director and assistant professor at mining engineering technology here at Bluefield State University. What we're going to be talking about today is the map that we'll be using for our surface mine project. Okay. So this is a real map that I used. So this is a real area. It says the topography is from it's about central West Virginia. And so what you're going to be tasked with as students is to develop a mine plan, a surface mine plan, both um, contour and high wall mining for this particular property. Features of the property, you have Isaac's Run here that comes down this way. A couple of smaller valleys off to the side. You have people that live here. There's houses and construction that's gone on here. The main road comes in this way. There's also access road here that previously exists. There is most likely an unmapped one that accesses this road, maybe from somewhere else, or accesses the strip, I should say, from somewhere else. Okay, so that's kind of the features of the map. This is a topography map. So you'll see here you have elevation contours, right? And the index interval here, the distance between the thick black lines is 100 feet. And the contour interval is 20 feet. So every line in between represents 20 feet of elevation. So with that, I have thrown in some problems that you might see in real life right here in Appalachia. If you would be doing this, as an engineer. And so what we have here on the right, we have this green hatched area, okay? This is a pre-existing deep mine. I've drawn it all the way to the outcrop. Now, generally, that would not be expected. They would have stopped before the outcrop, but we are pretending that this was a pre-long mine and that they went in there and tried to take absolutely every ounce they could. With what methods they had, right? So they got really, really close to the outcrop in this case. Yes, and so I'll be giving you later on. I'll be giving you the parameters about this mine, and what you might do about that. Okay, so the rest of this southern portion of the reserve does not have any other mines. If you zoom in, you can see that it's relatively steep in this area, right? Especially when we go to look at the northern reserve, you'll see that there's a difference there. Okay, so the northern reserve, yes, it's not as steep. It also has this point that runs way out, okay? So you're going to have to think about how you might want to approach this, all right? So the original highwall, which is unreclaimed, right? This is a pre-law, pre-existing contour mine. They have a high wall of about 40 feet. Okay, so that's two contour lines up. That's where they kept their high wall in this case, for about 40 feet, because of the equipment limitations at the time, right? In the modern era, that's not as much coal as you could economically recover, right? So what some places are doing, if it's not economical to surface mine anymore, what they'll do is they'll just bring in a high wall miner and mine this bench, and then reclaim that bench. But in this case, it will be economical to mine additional material. So you're going to have to consider, what that stripping ratio looks like, where your new high wall is going to be, how you're going to deal with this point, right? Do you contour all the way around, or Is there a way to maybe put a box cut through, right? So we'll be considering those things. And then one last thing I threw in, okay, an adverse property. Okay, so this property that's adjacent to where you'll be mining, you don't have the rights to it. You don't have the rights to mine the surface. You may or may not have the mineral rights, but you need the surface rights in this case, or contracts with surface owners for paying them royalties and using their land. But we can't get that for this piece, right? So this is an adverse tract. So that will these things, these sort of extraneous items in our mine plan, they're going to dictate how we do some of the surface mining. It's going to impact the calculations, right? So, how much coal is there and how much is not there. With that, I'm giving this to you prior to coming up with all the extra details that we're going to need to do this project. But I wanted you to get a look at the map, get a look at what we're doing, at what the project's going to look like, right, and start thinking about how you're going to approach this problem, right? So there we are. With that, I'm going to close out, and I'll get back to you with more information, a detailed narrative of the project description, and that will have a lot of the information that you'll need to complete the project. So with that, we'll see you next time.